The more I look at Penn State, and we talk about quarterbacks, when you look at this roster, on a defense, I know Chop Robinson is gone, but they're going to be damn good once again. Penn State is going to have a chance to have a top 5 defense in the country. You bring in Julian Fleming from Ohio State at wide receiver, right? I believe you did lose a couple pieces, but when it comes to Drew Allar, you lost 3 guys on the offensive line, including one of the top draft picks. Mm-hmm. In this new offense, and not a lot of people talked about this, James Franklin, after they averaged 13.5 points a game, guys, they averaged 36 points a game around there overall for the season. They averaged 13.5 points a game against Michigan and Ohio State. All right, now, we don't have divisions anymore, but in the games you have to win to ascend, even now in the Big Ten, I think getting Scott Nicky from Kansas, the OC, a guy that is an absolute witch with formations, with motions, got some Petrino in him. When you look at that, I think it's going to be a much better system for Drew Allar because I feel like Drew Allar last year was the kid they sheltered all the way until they went off to college, and then they get alcohol poisoning week 2. Not that Drew Allar, he had like a 20 touchdown to 2 interception ratio, but they never put him in harm's way. They never really gave him the keys in big games to be able to go out there. And I go back and I watch tape, and he still struggles to make the routine throws routine. But I think this offense and this new coaching staff will help. I truly believe that. But around him, we talk about hinge players. We talked about it last year. The season hinges. They got all the other pieces, but they need this guy. Drew Allar, I know he plays a quarterback position, may be the biggest hinge player in all of college football when it comes down to a team being able to fulfill their potential. And we're going to have to wait and see. And that's going to be a question. But this Penn State team is absolutely loaded everywhere else.
I'll continue to say Drew Allar at Penn State and Cade Klubnik at Clemson are 2 quarterbacks around the country who I don't think have reached their ceiling, and they need to reach or get close to their ceiling in order for those 2 programs to accomplish what they're accustomed to accomplishing. I know Penn State fans aren't happy with James Franklin after 10 years having not performed up to expectations of making the college football playoff. But out of those 10 seasons, he's won double-digit games half the times, 5 of those seasons. And when you look at the schedule and you're talking about the 4 betting favorites to win the Big Ten Conference, well, of those, Penn State, you're one of them. Yep. And of the other 3, you don't play 2 of them. They don't play Michigan. They don't play Oregon, right? They're benefiting from not having divisions in the conference anymore, and they get the Buckeyes at home November 2nd. Again, that's a recipe for success in the conference.
It is. Go and pull up their schedule and Blaine, I want to know what you think about Penn State, though.
Well, I think as long as Drew Allar's quarterback, they're never going to achieve what they want to achieve. I don't.
Be close?
As close as they usually get, which is, 9, 10 games?
Even with the new offense and
no, I don't believe in Drew Allar that much. I've seen him play. The stats are one thing, and I know, but I've seen him play against the best, and it's not good enough. Like, even you go Ohio, where's the Ohio State game? At Penn State? It doesn't matter. You're not good enough to win that game. And don't think, we're going to go through the schedule. That week 1 game at West Virginia,
without a doubt.
That's nothing to walk by because those boys aren't here to mess around.
I think they're
again, that's not a conference
favorites
game,
on the
so
road.
True.
I want to say this about Drew Allar. I think, obviously, the player not making the plays, you can blame the player. And technically, and you look the way he throws the ball, has he gotten better than he was? A little bit, yes, but it's not near close to what it needs to be. I don't think they gave him a chance to really throw the ball that much in those big games. I think they baby-proofed the big games for him. And when you do that, you stunt the growth. It's like letting a 5-year-old lift weights. You're stunning their growth or drink coffee. That's what I felt like they did with Drew Allar. So I think we compare Drew Allar to like DJU, right? We've seen more of DJU than we have of Drew Allar, but at least they gave DJU a chance to try and be a legitimate passer of the ball, whether it was at Clemson. Oregon State was a little bit different with what they did, and they had Damian Martinez. But I'm interested to see if the reins are actually let off of Drew Allar, if he can make that jump. I know,
like, when it comes to passing and attempts, it's different. You threw it 42 times against Ohio State last year. You threw it 42 times against Ohio State last year. Hell, I don't know if you can throw it any more than that, and you scored 12 points. It's not like that. I feel like Penn State wants Drew Allar to become Drew Allar. But he's just not. Some guys just don't turn in the guy we expect him to be.
Well, if he's not the guy than you thought, then get his ass out.
I agree, and I said that last year when we saw
the backup. They're riding.
We saw the backup come in, and that spark hit.
In the bowl game?
In the bowl game, that spark hit, and what can the backup do? He can move. Mm-hmm. He can run.
But can he throw it? That's the question.
Well, obviously, it's going to hurt a little bit. The rarer the guys are the guys who are mobile and have great accuracy. I would almost take that hit a little bit on throwing because, hell, Drew Allar could sit back there and can't run and can't throw.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say. Listen, if y'all both can't throw, please, one of y'all be able to run at least. All right, here's this Penn State schedule. At West Virginia, week 1. Boys, West Virginia is a 10.5-point dog at home. We have some friends of the show that invited us out there. Will we go out there? I don't know. We're trying to work it out right now. But that game is going to be, look, West Virginia is as confident as Matthew McConaughey walking into sorority right now. So that's a dangerous game. I mean, they burn furniture when they're happy. Just think about that. Then they play David's favorite old coach, Scott Loeffler, at Bowling Green, week 2. They basically play a max schedule the next 2 weeks. They play Bowling Green, then they get to absolutely murder Kent State live on national television. Then you get Illinois at home. You should be better than them. You get UCLA at home. You should be better than them. And then you go play USC. And I know we're going to bring USC's schedule up here, David, so I don't want to jump the gun too much. But is that going to be the game? Because there's so much uncertainty with LSU about how good they're going to be on the line of scrimmage on defense, right? We know how good they're going to be on offense. Is that the game where we really find out if USC is going to be able to compete in this conference?
Oh, Miller Moss, baby.
That's one of the games Drew Allar can win and not throw the ball.
That is true. Well, I think Illinois is. I think UCLA is. I for damn sure know Bowling Green and Kent State is. But then they go to Wisconsin to play Luke Fickell. Then you get Ohio State at home. Then you get Washington at home. Then you go to Purdue. You go to Minnesota, go row the boat out there. And then you get Maryland at home. David, and again, we don't do our predictions till after fall camp. Got to see what happens. Is Penn State a college football playoff team in your mind?
Man, I'm going to say no right now with Oregon coming into the conference and with how good the Buckeyes are going to be now. Like I said, they do escape Michigan, so that's where things are really going to get interesting, and that's to where the non-conference games could come into play when you start talking about West Virginia.
Very true.
And I still think Michigan hosting Texas. I don't think the loser of that game, week 2, makes the college football playoff. But an opportunity, those games don't have an impact on whether or not you play in the conference championship. And now more than ever, winning that conference championship gives you that automatic qualifier. So I still think Penn State's in a better position than they were when they were playing in the East Division and having to play Michigan.
Oh, without a doubt. Nobody should be happier about getting rid of divisions than Penn State in my mind. What's up, YouTube? If you think Keith Olbermann is smart, don't subscribe to this channel.